Okay, so we will now be starting our chapter 4. No? So for this meeting, we will talk about the law enforcement code of ethics. Yan. And the contents of our lesson for today would be the principles of policing as introduced by Sir Robert Hill. Though you have also encountered these principles in your law enforcement subjects. And the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics for law enforcers. Okay. Yan. And we have a performance standard. So you will be memorizing the law enforcement code of ethics and we'll recite that. No, we will just announce what are we going to do with that activity. Yeah. But for now, we will just have a lesson. Okay? And so let's talk about the usefulness of a code of ethics. Codes are like firearms. We can use them as our weapons. They have their value. They are important. And they also have their dangers. And same with a firearm. So one of the interesting questions to ask is why police created a code of ethics in the first place. And it may be that codes contain historically important clues to the contextual mandates of policy. It serves as a weapon or as a guide for police officers. But more often than not, they represent aspirations toward the future without any clear directions for how to get from one place or the past to another, the future. And if you know your knowledges, yung mga knowledges na memorize ninyo in your ROTC, yan. We also have an impact to the life of the cadet. Same din sa police service, meron naman tayong code of ethics and other knowledges that you have to understand and memorize by heart. Because you can use them in your career in the law enforcement. So originally, the code was developed by California Peace Officers Association and later was adopted by the International Association of Chiefs of Police in 1957. Later, makikita ninyo yung Law Enforcement Code of Ethics. So we will read that one. So our Law Enforcement Code of Ethics is such a guide. I have told you it is a guide and guide for the path of the law enforcers. If one really studies this code, it will soon become evident that adhering to it presents no easy task. For it involves mastering one's own human nature, and this is never an easy goal to attain. And you are all familiar with the nature of the police service, diba? Hindi madali ang field natin. We should be able to understand that, especially pag kayo ay nasa law enforcement service na. Because the principles are different from the civilian principles. And most of the people, hindi naman nila gaano naiintindihan yan. Because they are not in the field. So anyone reading the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics will agree with its basic message. And they will accept its basic context as being commensurate with professional standards. Although, ang ating Law Enforcement Code of Ethics, how do I remove this one? Ayan, as we continue, it was introduced in 1954, but kahit na 1954 pa siya, still we can apply that in the law enforcement. Okay, pero nag-modernize na ngayong panahon natin, maraming innovations. And we still have to check what is applicable in the law enforcement. Though these principles are still applicable in the law enforcement. And we are all familiar with Sir Robert Peel, diba? With his Metropolitan Police Act in 1829. And he introduced these principles that we will talk about, the 9 principles. And it is considered as a version of Code of Ethics. Though yung Law Enforcement Code of Ethics, mamaya na natin yan i-discuss. Yan, so we have the principle 1, the first principle. Very short lang, the basic mission for which the police exists is to prevent crime and disorder. And we are all well-informed na ang crime, hindi natin yan mabubura 100%. Crime exists in the society, and Emil Durkheim said na ang crime daw is normal. But, bakit kailangan natin ng police officers? To prevent crime, to minimize these crimes. Hindi po pwede na mangibabaw ang crime sa society because it will be chaotic. Magiging problematic ang society kung mangingibabaw yung crime. So, ang basic mission ng police is to prevent crime and disorder. Kaya may mga techniques na develop methods on how to prevent crime. Kaya nga may police presence tayo, mga patrolling, vital installations na kinakanta ng police officers para ma-minimize yung crime or to prevent crime and disorder. To serve and protect the citizens. Now, principle 2 naman, the ability of the police to perform their duties is dependent upon public approval of the police actions. Si Sir Robert Peel, he emphasized the importance of the community. Yung importance ng cooperation ng ating community. Now, that's why public approval is important to the police. Bakit tayo may PICAD? The Community Affairs and Development. Bakit may ganyan pa tayong division in the PNP? Because the police wants to have a good image para magkaroon tayo ng public trust, ng public approval. So, kung magagawa ng police officers ang kanyang duties, magkakaroon ng magandang impact yan sa ating community. And saan nakadepende ang performance of duties daw ng police officers? It depends on the public approval of police actions. Ibig sabihin, dapat in line with the principles din ng public yung police actions. So, yung ginagawa ng police officers, dapat approve. Dapat maganda sa mata ng mga tao. Dapat hindi siya nagba-violate ng ating social norms. Okay? Next, principle number 3 naman tayo. So, police must secure the willing cooperation of the public in voluntary observance of the law. Willing cooperation, voluntary, to be able to secure and maintain the respect of the public. So, dapat, yung cooperation ng public, it is voluntary, hindi sa pilitan. Voluntary observance of the law, the obedience to the law, and being a law-abiding citizen. To be able to secure and maintain the respect of the public. Hindi po pwedeng lahat na lang ng actions ng public ay pinipilit lang natin. Pinipilit lang ng police officers. And there are a lot of ways on how we can catch the hearts of the public to secure their willing cooperation. Yan. Next, let's proceed to principle number 4. The degree of cooperation of the public that can be secured diminishes proportionately to the necessity of the use of physical force. Yan. Ibig sabihin, kung nagko-cooperate ang public natin, hindi na natin gaano kakailanganin yung physical force. And now, kung hindi nagko-cooperate ang public, what would happen, no? We will need the use of physical force. And we just compare them, no, as yung ating weighing scale. So, para magpantay ang dalawang yan, dapat merong degree of cooperation. Kung gaano kabigat yung degree of cooperation, ganon din yung, or mas ma-minimize yung physical force. Dahil bakit kailanganin ko ng physical force kung nagko-cooperate naman yung public, or nagko-cooperate itong, for example, nagkahanda kayo ng arrest. Nagko-cooperate naman with the arrest itong si suspect. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, hindi na natin gaano kailangan. The use of physical force will diminish. Dahil nga, nagko-cooperate naman nga itong ating suspect doon sa arrest. Dahil pa natin gagamitan ng physical force. Minimal lang ang ating kailangan gamitin. Okay? Yan. Ibig sabihin, dapat tama lang yung gamitin ninyong force. No? Hindi sobra. Kung ano lang yung kinakailangan. Because the court will also check on that kung kinakailangan ba yung naging action. No? For example, you're claiming of a defense in the court. But, yung ginawa mo, parang sumobra na yata. Okay? And not to the point na naging fatal na yung naging injury nung aggressor, for example. So, principle number 5 naman natin, police seek and preserve public favor not by catering to the public opinion, but by constantly demonstrating absolute impartial service to the law. Ibig sabihin, no, kahit na may public opinion, hindi natin or hindi tayo magpapadala sa gusto ng public. We need to be impartial. Hindi dahil sinasabi ng public na dapat ikulong na yung taong yan. We still need to adhere to the legal process. And may proseso kasi tayo, meron tayong justice system. And sometimes, no, the public does not understand, no, the justice system. And for example, I have seen e-posts na nag-plead ng not guilty yung SUV driver na nakasagasa dun sa security guard. And then you will see, no, dun sa comments na puno pang sistema ng Pilipinas, mayaman lang ang may justice, etc. But, ano yung sinabi doon, di ba? Sabi lang, nag-plead ng not guilty etong si accused. So, pwede naman talaga mag-plead ng not guilty ang accused. Part yan ng ating justice system. Okay? Pero yung part na yan, sa court na yan, balik tayo sa ating law enforcement. Okay? And so, dapat hindi magpadala sa public opinion. For example, yung mga trends ngayon, yung mga nawawalang, kaso ng mga nawawala, mga kidnapping. So, kung based naman, kung i-check nyo din naman, no, yung statements from the PNP, hindi naman totoo, no, yung mga haka-haka ng mga puting van, etc. So, dapat pabulaanan din yung mga ganong klase ng mga haka-haka ng public. And what else? No, kung may mga sensational cases din tayo, for example, yung kay Jovelyn, yung nawala sa Robinson City, Palawan. Diba? The public was very eager, no, para na malaman ano ba talagang nangyari sa kanya. So, it came to the attention of the public. And maraming naging opinion yung public. Yan. But, kailangan pa rin, no, kung ano yung legal process, kung ano yung proseso talaga na dapat sundin, yun ang gagawin. Hindi yung, for example, naghahanap na ng suspect, yung public, bakit wala pa rin mag-produce ang police officers. Hindi po pwede na basta na lang tayo kumuha ng tao dyan at siya yung ipalabas na suspect. Yan, dahil nga, yung public, no, eager na sila na mahanap yung suspect dun sa crime na nangyari na yan. Yan. So, dapat pa rin maging impartial. Hindi magpadala doon sa gustong mangyari ng public because they do not understand everything. Hindi nila alam lahat ng proseso na nangyayari. Okay? So, the police must seek and preserve public favor. Pero, hindi nga yung public opinion. Because the public opinion is not always right. Okay? Ano yung dapat gawin? Yung impartial service. Yan. And of course, dapat it would adhere to the provisions of the law, our justice system. Okay, principle number 6. Police use physical force to the extent necessary. Necessary lang to secure observance of the law or to restore order only when the exercise of persuasion, advice, and warning is found to be insufficient. Ibig sabihin, no, ginawa mo na lahat, you persuaded the person, kinonvince mo na siya, nagbigay ka na ng advice, nagbigay ka na ng warning, ayaw pa rin talaga niyang sumunod. Okay? And, yun nga, nung ayaw niya sumunod, very uncontrollable na itong taong to. So, pwede nang gumamit ng physical force. So, yung kinakailangan na, to the extent necessary, to secure the observance of the law. Okay? So, kung hindi na gumana yan, kinonvince mo na siya, binigyan mo na siya ng mga warning, pinagsabihan na siya. So, gaya nga ng sabi nila, kung hindi madaan sa santong dasalan, idaan sa santong paspasan. Pero, yung tama lang. Huwag kang sosobra. Ikaw din yung magiging or malalagay sa alangan yung pagkaganyan. So, just use the necessary physical force. Okay? Principle 7. Police at all times should maintain a relationship with the public that gives reality to the historic tradition. That the police are the public and the public are the police. Saan galing yung statement na yan? That is actually from Sir Robert Peel. So the police are the public and the public are the police. The police being only members of the public who are paid to give full-time attention to the duties who are incumbent on every citizen in the interests of community welfare and existence. What does it mean? No? Police are the public and the public are the police. Police officers are also members pa rin ng public. Okay? And but, they are being paid for these duties ng police officers para sa public din. So, ibig sabihin, police are doing their job for the public and they themselves are also members of the public. It is for the good of everyone, for the good of all. So, ibig sabihin, dapat i-consider ng police officers that they are also part ng public. They should not separate themselves from the public, but maintain a relationship with the public. Still, as members of the public. Hindi naman sila mawawala as part of the state or part of the public. Yeah. Principle 8. Police should always direct their actions strictly towards their functions and never appear to usurp powers of the judiciary. Ibig sabihin, no, kung ano lang yung duties ng police officers, yun lang ang kanilang gagawin. Kung ano lang ang kanilang functions, Yun lang ang gagawin nila. And hindi nila po pwedeng hawakan or hindi nila po pwedeng kunin yung powers ng judiciary. Or, sa madaling salita, hindi nila po pwedeng ilagay ang batas sa kamay nila. Okay? As police officers. Kailangan kung ano lang yung functions nila. Yun lang. Dahil siyempre, functions, di ba, ng law enforcement yun, ng prosecution, the court, correction, and the community. If you remember sa CJS, diba? So, magkakahiwalay yung mga functions na yan. So, kung ano lang yung function no, para maging maayos yung ating justice system, yun lang. And because if they will usurp the powers of judiciary, there would be conflicts. Magkakaroon ng problem dyan. Or magkakaroon ng abuses. So, hindi dapat na ilagay sa kamay ang batas or hindi dapat kunin no, yung powers na iba nating agents or agencies yan, or ibang parts ng ating justice system. Yan. Principle 9. The test of police efficiency is the absence of crime and disorder, not the visible evidence of police action in dealing with it. Ano daw yung effectivity or for Sir Robert Peel, ang effective daw or ang test ng police efficiency is the absence of crime and disorder. So, ito yung modern theory natin. Okay? Or modern test of police efficiency. Actually, the one that introduced that is Sir Robert Peel. If you still remember sa inyong mga law enforcement subjects, we can also connect these topics sa ating LEA subjects. So, to further discuss your principle number 9, your law enforcement is a profession. And number 1, yung discipline ng police officers. Dahil nga sila ang role model of discipline. And of professional people, ethical people. So, they play an important role. And the International Association of Chiefs of Police, or yung IACP, they established a code of ethics to govern the conduct of its members. And this code of ethics, originally written in 1957, was revised at the IACP conference in Louisville, Kentucky on October 17, 1989. So, dyan na na-develop na yung ating code of ethics. And on October 1991, the IACP members unanimously voted to adopt the new code. Dahil nga, nagiging modern na yung ating panahon. But ito, part pa rin ng 19th century. Nasa 20th century na tayo. Okay, so this is our law enforcement code of ethics. So let's just first read the first paragraph. As a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all men to liberty, equality, and justice. You can see the message is very meaningful, it is very clear. Yan ang duties ng ating law enforcement officer. And actually, this is the one that makes the functions of a law enforcement officer beautiful. Ang ganda ng functions ng law enforcement officer. Very selfless yung kanyang functions. No? It is not only for himself or herself, but for other people. Unlike other, not all professions, no? Though other professions din naman, it is for the people. Pero ang ganda lang ng field natin because we serve other people. Ang ganda ng functions ng law enforcement officer. We are here, to make sure that the laws are enforced, that our rights, are being enjoyed by citizens, by every individual, yeah, whatever status they have, poor man or rich, yeah, any kind of color, that their rights are being enjoyed by them. Yeah. And of course, we want to protect everyone from any kind of abuses, to protect the innocent against deception. What is deception or fraud? Yan, mga panloloko or abuses, yan, to these individuals who are innocent, who are just doing their functions, who are just doing their job. And of course, it is very hard to become victims of these crimes and ng deception. It is very difficult. That's why we do not want anyone to suffer from these crimes. Yung mga nangyayari sa society, which are not good, for those who became victims, yan, of abuses. Yan, it will create an impact to their life. Yan, maybe negative dahil nga abuses, crimes, deception, fraud. We do not want anyone to suffer from that, na yung pinaghirapan nila, basta na lang nawala sa kanila. Or yung mga inosenteng bata, yan, or women who are being abused. And sometimes, even family members pa yung nag-a-abuse sa kanila. And sino yung tatayo para sa kanila? That is the law enforcement. That is the beauty of the field of law enforcement. And let's proceed to the second paragraph. I will keep my private life unsullied. As an example to all, maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn, or ridicule. Develop self-restraint and be constantly mindful of the welfare of the others. Honest in thought and deed in both my personal and official life. I will be exemplary in obeying the laws of the land and the regulations of my department. Whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature or that is confided to me. If we will see or if we will also examine or we will talk to police officers, iba ang life in the law enforcement. Iba yung or sa atin or for civilians, diba? In all occasions, nandyan. Sa mga special occasions, dapat nandyan ka, diba? With your family. But, police officers, and unfortunately, sa field ng law enforcement, kabaligtaran. Pagka may mga events or occasions, mga holidays, dyan sila wala. Kasi kailangan sila na public. Instead of celebrating those occasions with their family, ano yung nangyayari? They are outside nagbabantay sa safety of the people. Yan. So, iba yung experiences nila. Unlike for ordinary people, they can celebrate the occasions with their families on time. Pero sa kanila, hindi. What else? Yan. Yung personal and official life, dapat separate. Yan. Kung ano yung mga personal problems, dapat hindi na dinadala sa trabaho. And this one, maintain courageous calm in the face of danger. They have to show courage, lalo na kung may nangyayari ng crisis sa labas or may nangyayari ng crime. or they are in the face of scorn or ridicule. And sometimes, police officers, sila yung pinapahiya in public. But they still need to maintain a calm posture because it will reflect them. And actually, personally, I don't agree with that na yun, ano yan, they humiliate police officers because they do not know what they have been through. Hindi nila alaman yung pinagdaanan ng police officers na yan. Para ipahiya sila in public. I do not agree with that na ipahiya sila sa public. They can be scolded, siguro private na lang, private or superior officers to his men. Diba? Kausapin niya na lang ng maayos. Not that na ginagawang public. Yan. If you know what I mean. There are some cases, diba? Yan. Sa mga previous na officers in the PN. I don't agree with that. Pangit tignan, hindi maganda. Kasi nakikita ng public, di ba, role model na ang police officers. Pero pinapahiya sila in public. What will happen? Yung public, lalong sasama yung tingin sa police officers. Lalong hindi maganda yung magiging image. Lalong papangit yung image ng police officers sa public kapag ka pinapahiya sila in public. And also, we appreciate those police officers na despite the ridicule, despite the humiliation, still, they were able to maintain their calm posture. And hindi sila nagpadala sa emotions. And if you become police officer someday, kailangan din, alam ninyong i-handle yung emotions ninyo. Kung ano yung nangyayari sa private life ninyo, hindi ninyo po pwede dalhin yan sa trabaho. You have to be professionals or maintain, being professionals. And you need to do your functions. Lalo na, napakalaki ng role ng police officers. Okay, next. Next paragraph. I will never act officiously or permit personal feelings, prejudices, animosities, or friendships to influence my decisions. Ito malaking challenge sa police officers. Kahit na kaibigan mo yung taong yan, hindi po pwedeng ma-influence yung decisions. Okay, for example, nagkanda kayo ng checkpoint, at dahil friend mo siya, for example, napakaraming violations niya, palalagpasin mo na. You should not do that. Okay? Kahit na kaibigan mo pa yan, a very close friend mo pa yan. Kung meron siyang dapat na i-face na consequence, let him or her face the consequence. Do not let them influence your decision. Because, in the first place, you are just doing your job. And of course, pinagkakatiwalaan ng public ang police officers. And you need to secure the trust and confidence of the public. With no compromise for crime and with relentless prosecution of criminals, I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately without fear or favor, malice, or ill will, never employing unnecessary force or violence, and never accepting gratuities. Huwag nyo nga hayaan na ma-bribe kayo pag kayo yung nasa field na, pag kayo naging law enforcement officers na. Yan, mahirap kasing kalaban yung utang na loob. Okay? Huwag niyo hayaan na mabaon kayo sa utang na loob. And of course, maging impartial kayo laging fair. Do not favor anyone nang dahil lang close sila sa inyo, dahil lang may utang na loob kayo sa kanila. As long as you are just doing your job, you're just doing your job, wala kang magiging problem. Though, yan yung mahirap din na part. Hindi kasi natin masasabi lahat. In reality, hindi ma-apply lahat ng ideas mo. Sometimes you will be challenged. Napaka-hirap kasi ng situation na yan. Pagka nandun na kayo, you will also understand that. And of course, sa class natin, we need to be idealistic. Kung ano yung ideal, yun yung tinuturo namin sa inyo. And but, pag nasa reality na kayo, no, it depends on you on how you can apply yung idealistic. Medyo mahirap yan yung pinaka-challenging part na i-apply yung ideals natin. Kasi nga, para sa atin, ganito yung nakikita natin, ganito yung tama, ganito yung gusto natin mangyari. Pero in reality, what happens? We cannot control other things. Sometimes, naiipit tayo sa situations. Lalo na, if you will be able to talk to some police officers. Yan ang challenge. Ang hirap daw niyan. Kasi nga, may mga principles ka na sometimes hindi mo ma-apply. If you know what I mean. Kasi sa atin, by the book tayo eh. Siyempre, nag-aaral pa kayo. Pero pag nandun na kayo talaga sa point na nasa service na kayo, may intindihan ninyo na sometimes hindi lahat ng gusto mong mangyari o hindi lahat ng akala mong tama, hindi lahat ng akala mong dapat, yun ang nangyayari. There are other things na mahirap na lang ipaliwanag. Ayan. Before pa tayo mag-go sa mga issues na yan. Ayan. I just hope na meron na kayong idea. Ayan. Na mahirap ang path na dadaanan ninyo. Hindi siya ganun kadali. Minsan kailangan ninyo lakasan yung loob ninyo and minsan malulunok yung pride mo sa mga situations na nangyayari. So, you need to be strong enough to survive. Lalo na pag kayo nandun na sa field ng law enforcement. Sa mga agencies, hindi may iwasan na may mga ganong situations. Anything, any agency, any law enforcement agency na PNP, BFP, BJMP. So, ganun talaga yung nangyari. It depends on you, on how you will be able to handle the situation and to survive the field. And lastly, for law enforcement code of ethics, I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith. And I accept it as a public trust to be held so long as I am true to the ethics of the police service. I will constantly strive to achieve these objectives and ideals, dedicating myself before God to my chosen profession, law enforcement. So this is the last part of your law enforcement code of ethics. You need to recognize the badge of your office. Baka police officers na kayo. Okay? And that is very important. Your badge is very important. It emphasizes your role or it identifies you in the organization. Na part ka ng police organization. And this badge is the symbol of public faith. That you are destined to become law enforcement officers. And as long as you are a public officer, as long as you are a law enforcement officer, you should be true to the ethics of the police service. All of those that we have mentioned. You need to strive to achieve your goals, your objectives, and your ideals. I have told you, you need to be strong to achieve them. And of course, you can dedicate yourself to God in your chosen profession. Any profession man yan, someday, not all of you will become law enforcement officers. Others will be brought to other fields, which is maybe still related with the law enforcement. So whatever profession man yan, you need to, or you can dedicate yourself to God. Because, at the end of the day, siya pa rin yung masasandalan Maybe. And of course, this is law enforcement code of ethics. The chosen profession is law enforcement. Okay, so that is your law enforcement code of ethics.